Hello everyone, welcome to the Fox Den. Sakita, is this no sound right? Yeah. No. I'm doing a color correction on the screen, guys. Yeah, sure, Chris. Go ahead. That's better. Hope y'all having a great Saturday. Finally, here in Brazil, we have some chill time. No more scorching heat. Thank goodness. Yeah, Chris, I was so happy to see your video. And it's funny because I saw you drop the video before I saw your message on Instagram saying you did it. And then I was already there and commenting when I got in and said and saw that you had messaged me on Instagram. And I was like, oh, I beat you to it. Hi, Em. Let me just see something about the chat. Hold on. Okay. Just to make sure I'm not missing anyone. Nice, Jeanette. Flower Fantasy. What book is that? Flower Fantasy. I don't know what book is that. I'm having a blank in my head. For anyone wondering, this is my mini watercolor that I carry around with me, and I'm just gluing magnets to it because we're gonna do a tag today. It's so odd. I'm looking at my monitor and I corrected the color for a certain temperature. It's not the same temperature that I'm seeing in the monitor and that I'm seeing on the video. But then again, that is not my expertise. This is done. Quinacridone gold. Oh, you mean the paints, the mini ones, the samples we got from Timu and AliExpress? These are not that one. I just bought these empty tiny cups, and I bought this empty container. I just glued a piece of steel, a tiny sheet of steel, and now I'm magnetizing everything. Initially, it came glued, but it was a terrible kind of glue. They're all watercolor, Chris. But they are from different brands. One is Sennelier. I have some Daniel Smith. Most of them are Da Vinci. Because last time I went to the US, it was like the cheapest paint ever. As for an artist grade paint, of course. Oh, and now I have some White Knights. I was trying to remember the name. Nevskaya Palitra. Yeah, all different brands. I mean, most of them. And I do write in them. Let me see if I can show you. Oh, this one is not written. Here. It's definitely not going to be readable, I think, because this is a scroll. It's not my regular handwriting. It's too small. That would be Rusty in a Deep, PY42 by Da Vinci. I write on the little pen, so I know what to refill it with. Can you guys hear any echo of my voice? Or is that okay? I thought I had cut enough of those, but clearly I did not. So, there's 5 of us. I think we can start the tag. What do you guys think? Or girls, since I think we're all girls here. But I don't like to presume. Let me see. Mm. Question number 1. Oh yeah, it was Color Mama 360 that created that tag, and who tagged me? Someone tagged me. I think it was Wendy. Wendy's been tagging me a lot. Wendy at Jazzy Doodle Design. Awesome. Thank you everyone for the feedback. Question number 1. Super popular book you don't connect with. Clara Markova. Let me see. Yeah, I think that would be Clara Markova. I don't have any others that I'm not a fan of. Well, I could go the Johanna Basfer route, but I would like many of her books and I dislike a few others. As for Clara Markova, it just doesn't vibe with me. Her faces are a bit creepy to me. Oh, yes, of course, I have to have cat hair in my paint. This is Meadow Lake Deep by Van Gogh. Da Vinci Red. I'm even leaving a few blank ones because I ordered some paints and not all of them arrived. Indolent Yellow actually arrived today, a few minutes ago. But it came in a pan. I didn't even open yet. Is this one right here? Isoindolinone Yellow. It's PY 110. Yes. There's another one that arrived today. It's Neon Pink by White Knights. Let's see, what is number 2 for the tag? Let me just clean up a bit here. Raw Umber, PBR7, okay. Number 2, simple pages or highly detailed pages? It would be none. No, it's not none. It's, I don't like too simple, but if it's too intricate that it would give me the heebie-jeebies, like super tiny details that you cannot even fit the sharpest pencil in without going outside the lines, then it's a no for me. But between simple and highly detailed, definitely highly detailed. But it's kind of neither. Burnt Sienna Deep. Oh, hello, Coloring View. Thank you for being here, all of you. So much more fun to do this kind of stuff while chatting with people than just doing it all alone. burnt sienna, PBR7. Yeah, I think if you put personal information, I think YouTube automatically suppresses that, I think. So if there is a link or an email, I think it will suppress it. I have no idea, but I think so. Because I didn't see any emails. Oh, thank you, Jeanette. Jeanette, you'll be the most remembered person ever because you were the first person to ever join me on a live stream. Okay, one more. We need one, 2, 3, 4, 5. Another 20. I think I can make 20 out of these. Let me move you a bit. Sorry, I don't mean to make anyone dizzy, but I will move you a little bit. Yep. Just so you can see what I'm doing a bit better. Oh, guys, if you want, if you look at the description of the live stream, I put a Discord link. It's if you're working on it, if you're coloring something you want to share with me, you can put that on the Discord link so I can see it live. I think there you can put information if you want. If you need a place to connect and exchange information, I think you can do that through my Discord server if you want. Thank you so much, Jeanette. Because I'll tell you, if anyone told me that in the future I would live stream, I would laugh in their face because I'm a real introvert. I'm really shy most of the time, and it's definitely no easy feat for me. I mean, oh, this one is already here. Raw umber, burnt umber. This is Van Dyke Brown. Okay. Yeah, the Discord is like a chat the same way here. In fact, you can also do streams through Discord, but we just have more freedom. We can even do like a bunch of people with cameras at the same time, like kind of like Google Meets. It's the kind of thing we can do. I don't know why my hand is green on the screen, but at least the other colors are reasonably acceptable. Let's change the gamma here. I'm gonna put my hand just so I can see what's happening. Oh, it's the gamma. Okay. That makes more sense. Chrome iron oxide. This one is another that didn't arrive just yet. I got a few more paints. And that's a lot of paints. I mean, no one needs this many, to be completely honest, but I just like having a lot of variety. A few. It's not really a few. That's a lot. Yeah, if anyone else has Discord is coloring something, you can post pictures of your work in progress, of any plans you made, or anything you're coloring right now. Let me see. This one is Voronezhskaya Black. You found Chris? Yeah, it's Cool Auntie Chris on Instagram, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. I like the theme. Curious minded seeker, stringing theories. Nice, nice. I like the theme. Let's see what else I got. What else we got? Question number 3. Do you prefer alcohol markers or color pencils? Oh, color pencils. I'm from the OG time. There were no alcohol markers for coloring books. That was not a thing back in my day. I started coloring in 2015. So it's been a while. Number 4. Is it okay to have whips? Of course it's okay to have whips. Whips are the joys of life. I mean, I understand that whips sometimes give people the heebie jeebies. I get that. I used to have heebie jeebies and feel so guilty for not finishing my pages sometimes and abandoning them. Because I would be so like ashamed that I had not finished that I would just not do it. I would just not go back to that book ever. But in time, thanks to Annika and Jackie, I did learn that we have to do what brings us joy. And even if you didn't finish a page, when you are coloring that page, even if it's now unfinished, if you felt joy doing it, then it served its purpose. The whole purpose is to bring us joy. At least, that's my opinion. Mayan Blue Dark, Daniel Smith, BB82. Okay. Oh, Prussian Blue. Okay, I need to cut more. Hopefully the string will be enough because I need a few more. Let me see. Prussian Blue, Sennelier, PB27. Nice. Mayan Blue. These are all done. Next would be Cerulean Blue, PB36. I have a bunch of cobalt and turquoises that I bought that didn't arrive yet. Oh, no. That's messed up. Here. Okay. If you don't follow all the coloring people on Instagram, well, you gotta follow them. What I've noticed is I feel really inspired when I see other people's pages on Instagram and stuff. That actually helped me a lot to color more. Because sometimes I was like, nah, I'm just not feeling today to color. But then I look at Instagram or sometimes even YouTube, someone's video that just dropped or something. And I get the itch. I get the coloring itch all over again. So it actually helped me a lot with consistency. And it was a bit of a loop, a negative loop, because I would not feel like it, and then I wouldn't color, but then I would be stressed and no outlet for it, with no outlet for it. So it's actually much better. Stella Blue. Oh, I need to glue that one. Let me see. Question number 5. What's one illustration style that isn't for you? I would have to say Zendoodlies. I don't do Zendoodle. And trust me, I try, because my first 2 illustrators I ever got were Johanna Basford and Millie Marotta, which I found beautiful the first time I saw it, but I don't know, I felt no vibe in coloring that. I tried at first, but it would be so frustrating that I just no. Cobalt Turquoise, PB28. Yes, exactly, Chris. I think everyone that did this tag answered the exact same thing. That is one part of the unpopular opinion tag that everyone answered the same. And it could be no, but that is if in the area you live in you have a really strong coloring community, and it's not my case. In Brazil, I think most colorists know maybe up to Clara Markova, but for example, Kirby is not something that's sold really well here in Brazil for some reason, so I cannot find Kirby's books in Brazil. I have to import them all. Hi, Cindy. Good morning. How's the weather on your end, Cindy? Is the heat giving a break? And autumn finally looking like autumn? This is sea glass. Perylene green. Hey, Jane. How you doing? Welcome, welcome. Welcome to the Fox Den, everyone. Perylene green. If y'all are coloring something, feel free to post a picture on my Discord server. Yes, Jane, in your hemisphere it's spring. But Cindy is in Australia, and that is autumn, like here. It's starting to cool down here. Finally, we were having 20 something Celsius up until 2 days ago. Finally, we got some cool, chill time. Let me see if I can do proper introductions. Cindy is from Sydney, Australia. Jane is from Canada. I don't know where you're from. Chris is from United States. Denise Green. Okay. I finally finished, and I still got a few left. Nice. Okay, let's put them. I think I'm gonna put them in the other one. I have 2. Okay. going to have to write it down because I know I'm going to get lost in my mess. So, yeah, let's write it down. Let me see if I have. None of them is as big as I want. I'm gonna have to cut a piece of it. Probably. Hold up. I was gonna say I'll be right back, but I'm already back. Where's my little thingy here? This is a roll of watercolor paper. It's Bao Hong artist quality watercolor paper. Let me see. Hi, Pauline. Welcome to the Fox Den. Oh yeah, Jeanette is from England. Chris is in Illinois, I think. Yeah, Illinois. Yeah, I guessed it. Oh, I didn't guess it. You had mentioned it to me before, but I accurately remembered. Okay. I need my ruler. From the US, tip of Lake Michigan, not far from Chicago. I have a friend that lives around there. Well, he doesn't live there anymore. He moved to California, but he used to live in Michigan. I need one that is 12 and a half by 6.7 centimeters. I know I'm probably off screen, guys. I'll be back in screen in a second. And 6.7. This is 100% cotton, 300 GSM, aka 120 pounds. Thank you, Chris. Well, my memory is that of a goldfish, but sometimes some things stick with me. Sometimes my brain just say, you know what? I'm gonna remember this information. And it's not like I have any choice on what that information is, to be honest. My brain decides what's going to store and what we throw it away. Kind of like the way your hand does whatever it wants. Pretty much. Yeah, I cut them without measuring. I didn't like it, so I'm doing it again. Obviously. It's funny. I had a tiny bit. Oh, my smaller ruler is here. Found it. So there will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, 8. Is that correct? That's correct. Have to go through that little spot where Crow with his spouse family in Michigan. I think if I were to ever live in the United States again, I don't think I would, to be honest, but if I were to ever, I would probably live in Michigan, Ann Arbor, probably. Simply because I am aware that there's a really strong presence of artistic communities in Ann Arbor. 8. Let me check. If you send something on Discord that you want me to see, let me know, okay? I sent hello over there. Oh, last question I answered. That was number. What's one illustration style that isn't for me? And that would be Zandoodly because I don't do Zandoodle stuff. Let me see. Number 6. Are coloring books getting too repetitive? Oh gosh, that is one of those that are tricky because honestly, maybe. Or yes and no. Like I said, is a tricky one. Because it's not that it's exactly repetitive. I think that authors or illustrators, they have niches, right? Like Johanna Basfer, she has the leafy, foresty, made up my own flowers kind of style. And I think that a lot of people confuse that with being samey because if you think of it, she does have a good variety of things. If you hear person noises, it's Mr. Fox Arts is gaming next to me, so you might hear an eventual noise. But at the same time, I think a lot of artists go on a certain wave of themes. Like for a while, it was seasons. I think the first person to make a book about seasons was Hannah Carlson, and then later, eventually, Maria Trolle, and a lot of people went on into that. But I don't think that's necessarily repetitive. I just think it's something that attracts people. It's like offer and demand. People want books about that. I mean, I even saw it was Johanna Basper's live stream when she launched Inklings, and she mentioned that she didn't mention a lot of people in the live stream asked her when she would launch a seasons book. So clearly, something that people want. I like Johanna. I just don't like her first book and Lost Ocean. Everything else is pretty good for me. It's one of my favorites, in fact. Um, I always forget the name in English. Magical Worlds and Worlds of Wonder. Those are my two favorite books by her. Rooms of Wonder is a really close third. And I think it's a demand thing. People, it's not that it's repetitive. I think people want more of the same because they become comfortable with that thing. It becomes their go to thing. And then now they always want that thing. Like a lot of people wanted holiday books. And then we start seeing a bunch of authors and illustrators. I call them authors because to me it's a book, it's an author. they they start publishing things from that theme that everyone wants. At least that's my idea. So it's not necessarily repetitive. Of course, that when we talk about AI's lob, a bunch of AI published books, they will definitely be repetitive because it's someone is filling in those prompts, you know. Yes, Jane. Magical Jungle is not my favorite, but it's not something that I actively dislike. I have it, and I never colored. I mean, that's not true. I colored in it, but I got the first edition of that book when the paper was complete garbage. So I eventually rebought that book, and I gave away my older books. So my newer books don't have anything colored on them. Um, it's Enchanted Forest, Magical Jungle, and Secret Garden. I kept my old Secret Garden just because for many years was the only book I had, and there are a ton of pages colored in there. So for nostalgia's sake, I kept it, but I don't color in that book anymore. Let's see, what is next? Are limited edition books hard to find or hard to find books overhyped? I don't think so. I think it's not about the hype. I think it's the opposite. They would not be hard to find books if they had sold as much as the publishers expected them to sell. So I don't think they're overhyped. I do think they get jacked up in prices, and sometimes that can be a marketing technique, but in specifically for Hannah Carlson and I believe for Maria Trolle, I don't think that's a marketing technique. I think there is an issue, and in fact, I think Gibbs Smith confirmed that issue. Um, that the original publisher is no longer in contract with Hannah Carlson, and for that, she doesn't have any say in publishing, printing, or anything like it. They had a contract with Gibbs Smith to print those books in the United States or international market overall, but that contract expired, and the original publisher in Sweden also did not renew. They also discontinued the books, so no one has the right to it other than the Swedish publisher, and that publisher also doesn't seem interested in updating the contract with other publishers worldwide. Jeanette, which books you mean? Is that Wonderful Wildflowers and Inklings? I will be honest, nowadays I only purchased Johanna Basford through Marabout, which is their French publisher, because there is no better paper. The same with Kirby Rozans. It's the best paper is Marabout. And I highly recommend that if anyone can get access to the Marabout edition, get the Marabout edition, because that paper can handle anything. Point 6. Oops. Let's see. Next question. Question number 8. Coral longs are overrated or underrated? Hmm, that's another tricky one. For the UK, I think it's Lom. I don't know if it's Lom Arts that publishes her, but I know Lom Arts publishes Kirby on the UK, and I think she chose the same paper as Kirby. And as good as it is, because it is one of the best papers out there, is not that good. I think. Yes, ever since Rooms of Wonder, I've been getting the French editions because at the time when Rooms of Wonder launched, I could not find neither the UK or US edition, and I only could find here in my area the French edition, so I got what I could find, and turns out it had the best paper I ever seen for a coloring book. I mean. But for color alongs, it depends. If by color along you mean having to put the name of the pencil you're using, the brand, the color, and doing everything real time, I think they are underrated because they are really, really long to make and to edit and all of those things. And they are, I think they are the videos that had the least amount of views most of the time. But at the same time, is not what I feel a color along is. To me, a live stream like the ones when we're coloring together, that would be a color along. It doesn't necessarily mean I'm gonna tell every second of every detail that I'm doing. I can tell you, oh, I'm gonna put some yellow here, yada yada, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I will not like that was not a color along. I think that's a color along still. And I like putting color alongs when they're chatty, not when they're speed coloring or unless like two times speed, that's okay. But if when it's like super duper speed up, I don't like it. But it's not. I don't follow like a tutorial. I just like to watch to feel inspired or while I'm coloring. Just like I hang out in live streams because then I have company to color with. So that's the way I feel about color alongs. I don't like giving step by step. I mean, you can tell what you're doing without giving a manual because I think we need to allow for creativity to happen, you know? And that to me is already a color along. So if that's color along, then I think they are neither hyped nor underrated nor overhyped. They are just something that the coloring community does. But then again, my opinion. Now, for if you actually want specifically. Oh, hello, Kelly. Hi. Is there anyone else arrived that I didn't see? If I didn't say hi, I apologize. I'm trying to say hi to everyone that arrives. So, if color along is that thing that you put the color name and the number and the code of the pencil and yada yada, they're very much underrated because most people don't watch them, even though that's the most asked video. Jane says, I don't like step by step as I want to do my own thing, but I appreciate getting helpful tips in the process. Yes, that's exactly what I feel. I like doing it along, but I don't have to do the exact same thing. And I don't need to every step of the way to be narrated. Just an overall idea like, oh, I want to make these blue. I want to make it glow, you know? Number 9, overconsumption in the coloring world. Is that an issue? I think overconsumption is an issue everywhere. But I don't think that our community is as bad as others. And that again, I'm not throwing shade at other communities, but I do feel it could be worse, you know? It's not as bad as a lot of people say, at least in my opinion. But I do think it's something that we should be mindful of, as in, I think if you like that book and you want to buy it and you can buy it, go ahead and do it. You know, that's fine. No one can tell you what to do with your money. But I do think it's important to be mindful of what we are consuming. For example, do you want to feed the AI's love market, or do you want to feed to support real artists? So I would not buy AI's love books, at least not knowing it's AI. You can be fooled sometimes. I almost got fooled a little while ago. Yes, Jane, exactly. I am all for using your stash. But I'm not against getting new books. But if you feel that book doesn't vibe with you, then you don't need to get it just because everyone's getting, you know? That's fine. And I do think it's important to ponder before, because sometimes we can buy by impulse, but we don't need that. We can think it through. We can. That's what in my opinion, putting in the cart does for me. I put in the cart. I don't finish. I don't check out. I put everything that might interest me in the cart, and eventually, if I really want it, I will do the checkout. Otherwise, I'll just remove it from my cart. That gives me time to reflect and think: do I really want this? And that's something I think it's important with really anything that we do, not just our hobbies. But I do think sometimes, for example, I was really tempted to get the medium gouache because I'm in a really, really high gouache in watercolor kick lately. But Annika said she didn't love it very much. It was a bit tricky, and I already get driven nuts by my lower grade gouache that is tricky, you know? Oh, no, you gotta use it. You gotta use it. Don't save up your stash. Use it. I mean, this stash is there to bring us joy. And it's only gonna bring us joy if we use them. So let's use our stash, girls. So I think overconsumption is a worldwide thing from everything, all walks of life. But that doesn't mean we cannot control it, you know? That's why there's no buys and stuff like that. I don't do any of that, but I don't think I need it yet. But I do understand when people say I'm gonna go on a no buy, because I know they are trying to control themselves to not overconsume, and that's great. I always support that. But I always think that, for example, there is one book by Hannah Carlson that I deliberately did not buy, and that was City Among the Stars. I think that's what it's called. Is one with a black cover. And the reason I didn't do it is because it doesn't appeal to me too much. But I do want to buy it eventually. I just not going to buy now because it's not my priority. But I want to buy it to support her as an author. It's that, especially in times of AI's log books, you know? Um, for example, Alien Worlds, I didn't buy from Kirby Rosens, and I will not buy because I don't drive with that book. I even saw people do it. There's a group of people challenging one another to color on that, and that's great. but I will not buy it. It's just not for me, even though I love Kirby. I did buy Dark Fairy Tales to give to a friend because initially I thought it wasn't for me, but I wanted to support the author and I knew someone that would like that book. So I bought it and gave that to that person. Number 10. One popular supply is not worth the money. Oh gosh. This is tricky. A supply that is not worth the money. I think Ohuhu water-based markers. Not the alcohol ones, the water-based ones. Kelly, you found Mouse Guard, or is that the new one? Cause I can't wait to put my hands on that book. But in my country, it's never gonna get here. If it's the new one, I know he's not gonna ship internationally, only to United States, so I can't even get it. Not even if I want it. I mean, I do want it. I just know I can't get it. Five. 6.7. Kelly, I'm in Brazil. It's really, really hard to get these kind of books here. There's even another author. Gosh, I do not remember her name. She she has party and she's a gamer. I do not remember her name, but there's an author that whose book I wanted one of them, and also she doesn't ship to my location. And she's really good too. Even R.J. Hampson's books are difficult because I can find a good chunk of them online on Amazon, but they are so expensive that are insane. At least here. I mean, I love RJ, but I'm not gonna pay the equivalent of $29 for a US dollars for a book. 1.3. Yeah, it's true, Jane. Even Canada is just around the corner from the US, but it's still international. 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Hi, Snow. I'm still over the moon. I'm still over the moon that she did it. Initially, I asked her. I told her I would pay for the All About the Dogs book, because because I really wanted, and it wasn't that expensive, even with currency and all. But she said, "No, let that be my Happy Meal to you." I was like, "What? No, no, really? Oh my god!" I'm so happy, especially because I did send Happy Mail to Jesse at Sugar Sweet Art, and he sent me some as well. But unfortunately, he sent, I think it was a box of mixed things, but I never received it because customs stopped it and returned to him, returned to sender, because they said that he didn't declare a value. He was so angry when I printed the customs justification for returning to sender. He was like, "But I made the things. I created the books I was sending. I am the author." And when I told him, "Well, he should have put how much it's worth it, but it's a gift to you. I don't want to declare it." And then say, "Well, customs didn't accept that, and then it was not worth to pay for shipping again, you know?" So I was really heartbroken for that one. My Happy Meal that never was. I remember how upset he got. Because I support him on Ko-fi, and he was even doing a few bottoms on demand on Ko-fi for subscribers. And he never got to send me because he sent on that box and customs returned it to him, unfortunately. So at least Annika's one's arrived. I am excited to see when her Happy Mail will arrive to her. Part 1 of her Happy Mail is already on the way, but part 2 is still not on the way. Because I didn't go to the mail yet, to the post office. Meadow Lake, Alizarin Crimson, Quinacridone Rose. Yeah, and here in Brazil, they're a pain in the butt because they have a list, and if you declare something like, I don't know, $1, and that thing actually costs 30, they will know, they will check, and they will either completely reject the package and return to sender, or they will apply a fee on top of that. So it can be a bummer. They did get better than it used to be, but it's still a bummer. Now we got the true or false for our tag. True or false? You don't need to swatch supplies. To me, that is a really big false. Because, for example, alcohol markers, don't look what they are on the lid. Never, never. No, even Copic, that's pretty good about the lids, about matching lid to the color, it's still not exact. So definitely gotta swatch your supplies. Well, I do have a video on my channel calling Swatch Land because I do a bajillion swatches. I'll tell you what I don't do. I don't do color combinations. I do color comparisons, swatches, but I don't do color combos because I want the coloring to be more organic for me. So I will happily do as many swatches as need to be done, but I will not create a color combo. Oh, for gold, I will use this color and this color. No, I don't do that. That is a bit too much for me. Cerulean, phthalo. Nope, something is off. This is manganese. Manganese is not here. Phthalo blue is here. And now manganese, yes. Phthalo turquoise, which is not that one. This one. And cobalt chromium turquoise. And then cobalt turquoise, maybe 28. Next is phthalo green. I don't have phthalo green, so I'm using Sea Glass by Da Vinci temporarily. And then one of my favorite, Perylene green. My favorite green is green. It's just green by White Knights. There's also a version by Rosa Gallery. And Denise's green, which I also like a lot. Okay, finally, that is done. Another true or false. Cute and cozy are worth the hype. False. To me. False. Completely false. I don't do cute and cozy. I have one book. Yeah, I love color theory. I absolutely love color theory. In fact, the whole reason I'm doing these is because I'm creating the big book of swatches. And in that book, I make color wheels, mixes of color, cool colors with warm colors, neutrals, skin tones, how to get to A, B, or C color. So I love color theory. I love color overall, studying about color. But I definitely like the coloring process specifically to be more spontaneous. Yeah, that's another way to do it, Jane. I used to do that a lot. Jane said, I swatch as I color, I grab what I think I need in the moment. I don't pre-grab anything. I have my swatches on my case, and also for order purposes, because I'm going to show you one of my Prismacolor cases. Let me put you up just a little bit. Okay. I do it that way, Jane. I create a swatch here and one on the pencil itself. And many pencils are hard to read, so I write down the name, the number, and I color the swatch. Because as you can see, the barrel does not match. And in Prismacolor specifically, sometimes not even the tip match the color that comes out of the tip. How do they manage to do that? I don't know. But some of them really don't. I have a different type of swatch. It's called the bubble swatch. Done initially and originally by, what's her name? Barbara. She's from Belgium. Barbara Colors, I think that's her. Or Barbara Color. I thought I had one here, but I don't. I put it away. But usually I keep them around. Let me see. I have an old version of the bubble ones. I'll show you. Like this. And then I make a hole here and I can do a fan deck, just like you know when you go to the store, to a brick and mortar store, to see paint for your walls? Yeah. Yeah, they get scuffed up. That's why I don't do under the pencils anymore, Jeanette. I used to do that same thing. Yeah, I'm doing a series about how color pencils are made because at some point I actually tried making my own pencil. I visited many factories, I spoke with many people. These are my fan decks. You can do it like this with this little, um, what is that, a screw? Yeah, screw and a bolt, I think that's what it's called. Or with rings, whatever way one prefers. I keep them in my coffee shop if anyone wants it. All of the fan decks are already there. The case isn't there yet. I am slowly uploading them to the case. I glue them with hot glue gun into the elastic. I glue it first, press it for a few minutes, and then I just and also I laminate them. They don't look it because it's a matte lamination sheet, but I laminate them just so they don't get scuffed up over time. And the stickers also I will be uploading soon with the names on. And all of the fan decks are already uploaded. I have all of the major brands, the artists' quality brands. I am doing that. I'm not doing the fan decks for the budget brands, but I am doing them in the case and in the sticker type. And I will post that on my coffee shop. They're all free, by the way. Yes, and Derwents, I swatch them dry and I swatch them wet because the color shift is ridiculous. It doesn't even look like the same pencil after you wet them. Let's see, number two. No, I already said that one. Cute and cozy are worth the hype. No, because I don't do cute and cozy. I have one cute and cozy book, and that's Bunnies and Wagons by Heather Gross. And that's because who can resist Bunnies and Wagons? It's Bunnies and Wagons. It's the cutest thing ever. And yes, I have it, but I never colored in it yet. And I had others. I had Coco Wayo. I bought like four from four different authors. And I just, nope, it's not for me. I know that if you're really talented, you can do great things, you can be amazing. I know that. And I commend everyone that does it. But it just doesn't bring me joy. I feel like a child. I feel that if you want something simple, not in the level of Kirby Roseanne's or super intricate stuff like mythographics or Fabiana Tanazio, Fantasy World, right? Um, those ones, if you want something simpler, we can get Lulu Mayo, we can get R.J. Hampson. And those are books that, to me, they have a lot of personality. Cute and cozy, to me, they all have the same face. It's like Hello Kitty. They all have the same kind of face to me. There's no personality in my mind about these. And I saw books made by Coco Wayo before cozy coloring was a thing, and they were amazing. I know Coco Wayo is a group of people actually, but and I do think that I saw YouTuber mentioning that they have been using AI. So I don't know. I don't support that kind of coloring. It's not I don't no shade if someone loves it, that's absolutely fine. That's good that we have variety that everyone can fall in love with different books. But I don't do cozy coloring. They are not worth the hype to me. True or false? Collecting coloring books is part of the hobby. Not necessarily. It can't be, but I think it's a separate thing. If you want to collect coloring books, you can, just like a person collect stamps or reading books or any kind of collectible. But that's not the same as coloring books. You can join both hobbies, and I think that's what most colorists do at some point, but that's not necessary. And I think it's just sad that this kind of mentality that I gotta have all the books, I gotta collect them all, kind of thing, kind of like Pokemon. I gotta catch them all. I think that hurts the community a little bit, because that means that maybe someone who doesn't have a really large budget sometimes will feel intimidated to start. Oh, I need fancy pencils. I need all the most expensive and rare to find books. And that is not true, in my opinion, you know? You can be perfectly happy with 3 books in your collection. I would recommend one more simple, one more intricate, and one with that is small enough that you can carry around if you want. That would be the beginner starter kit. And I would recommend having a white gel pen, kind of like this one. This is a no brand one. It's very generic. It comes in a pack of 9, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, 9. So you have a white gel pen, you have colored pencils, and I recommend something to cover larger backgrounds, like gel crayons, for example. And that's it. You're set. You're set for absolutely any coloring book you want. You don't need a ton of supplies. I have to admit that having more variety of supplies did help me color more in my coloring books, but I don't feel comfortable advocating for overconsumption. Some things are just useful, you know? For example, and this is something, an aqua brush is useful to have. Even if you have, for example, the gel crayons, if you feel like it, you can activate with water using a water brush. And if you have a water brush, one of these is really useful. In my country, this is called almotalia, but I have no idea how to speak that in English. So I will say this is a lab squeegee thing. Another thing that I like is having a jar. It could be any jar, and there is a version that you can buy if you're in the United States. It's called a paint puck, and it has a brush scrubber inside, so you can put water and then clean your brush. I bought it to support a company. It's a small company, but I think if you live in the United States, it's somewhat affordable, but if you live anywhere else, it's not. So what I did is I got a jar. I got a brush scrub that has what is this called? This is a brush scrubber for makeup, and it has a suction cup on the bottom. Let me see how much I can flip it without making a mess. I even found one that is even cheaper, and this thing inside is an egg washer. Why would anyone need an egg washer? We're back. We're back. Where did y'all lost me? Yeah, that's Shooting Star. Oh, great. Thank you, Jane. I don't know what happened. Technical difficulties. Egg washer. Okay, good. Good to know. This is an egg washer. Why does anyone need to wash an egg? I have no idea, but it was a set of 3. Let me show you them without the water. Oh, thank goodness. They're like this. They have a suction cup on the bottom, and you can put them in any jar that you want. I bought a set of 3 on AliExpress for would be like $5 or something like that. Something like it. Where is my page? It's not that one. Oh, for those who were here in the last stream, I did finish that page. Well, my grandpa had a chicken farm, an egg farm, and we did wash the eggs. We just didn't have these fancy stuff. It was a machine. You put all the eggs in a tray, and they just use a pressure washer to wash everything. That's how they are done in an egg farm. Even though my grandpa's was a really small one, it was self-consumption, and in the little town that he lived in, he would supply eggs, but it was a really small business. He did everything by himself, but he did have an egg washing machine, and it was a machine, not a cup, a silicone suction cup thingy.
I can change during the stream. The delay.
Can't? Darn it. Mr. Fox Artsburg here telling me that he cannot make the delay a little less laggy, unfortunately. Because there is a delay, a few seconds delay. But this is how I finished it. Trying to center that on the screen. These were me using Nevskaya Palitra Masterclass gouache. This one I used Turner gouache. I do like the Turner gouache better. Thank you, Jane. Thank you, Callie. I think the only person that stayed to the end of my live stream last time was, I think, Auntie Chris. So she got to see this one finish first, because as soon as I finished, I sent her on Instagram. But what I am looking for is actually a different page, a page that I started. And it's not this one. Where is it? Did I not start a page here? I'm quite sure I did. Oh, here, found it. This I did with acrylic matte. I think it's called Flasher Paint. Yeah, it's by Le Franquin Bourgeois. But any craft paint would have the same effect as long as the finish is matte. And I did that because I want to watercolor the rest, but I don't want the back part to be activated like with wash. It behaves similar to acrylic wash. I think they are virtually the same, but I don't know because I don't own acrylic wash, so I cannot say it with any degree of precision if they really are the same or not. Oops, not that one. My little towel here. Let me see, where did I stop? You need social media to be able to participate in the coloring community. Yes, absolutely. I think that's the only one that we can all agree on. Every content creator, every colorist. Because we are a small community, but we are really scattered apart all over the world. So if we want to connect, we need to have social media. Unless you have like a coloring community right in your corner, which I imagine is really hard to find, then in that case, you definitely need social media. At least an Instagram or a Discord or something. Number five, true or false? Coloring is not something you do at the same time as other stuff. False, absolutely false. We can do all kinds of things, in my opinion, while coloring. When I go to a friend's house, we go there just hang out, and usually one of friends he barbecues something, stuff like that. I take my coloring books with me, and while I'm chit chatting with everyone, I am coloring. I do that watching movies. I do that even in bed sometimes, right before bedtime when I'm not able to sleep very well. I color. Eventually, I relax enough that I get sleepy, and then I just go to bed. Definitely. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, give me 1 second. Okay. I colored this rabbit at night, only with my side lamp on, while I was in a really bad crisis of insomnia, couldn't sleep at all. Turned on YouTube. Amy Wardart was streaming, and while she was streaming, I colored this tiny little rabbit. And it's all watercolors. I used the water brush. It was this water brush right here, and my mini palette. Although I was using this one, the my old one of these, and I colored. Finish in about 40 minutes or so. Only because of drying time still. If there was no drying time, I'll probably finish in 20 minutes or less. And I'm a slow colorist. But I wasn't putting shading, anything like it. I was just flat coloring, which is absolutely fine too. There is a moment for absolutely everything, if one feels like it, in my opinion. Let me see. I need a palette. I'm gonna put it here. And created some space here. Okay. What else do we got for our true or false? Number 6, budget supplies are just as good as artist quality. No, but it can't be. A budget supply can be more than good enough for coloring in coloring books. Bye, Thank you for spending some time with us. Another thing that is a must is a little spray. I'm gonna spray this just to activate the paints. And I'm going to use my new, put it like this, my new green. I'm so happy with my new green. Which one is my new green now? Is this one? Yep, that's my new green. This is PG8, the pigment, and I absolutely love this green. It's not the most light fast green, but it's a coloring book. It doesn't need to be super duper light fast anyway. I think we are in a point that we finally get to have good quality budget supplies, because we do. A few years ago, you would not find a decent color pencil at a budget. But I don't think they compare. Sometimes in vibrancy they do, but we can't compare apples and oranges. They're just different things. But it doesn't mean that they're not enough. Budget supplies are more than enough for coloring book needs. And I would hate for anyone to feel pressured into buying expensive art supplies because of feeling like it would be the only way to do good art. You could do good art with Crayola pencils. I'm just not going to say the dollar store pencils because those can be terrible. But you can do good art with kid supplies. I mean, gel crayons are kid supplies. Even though Faber-Castell sold them for crafts to a crazily, insanely overpriced tag. But they are actually for kids. Gel crayons are for kids. Tempera sticks are for kids. And we can do great things with it. Even craft paint. Craft paint is significantly cheaper, and this is a type of craft paint. We can do great with it, you know? No one needs fancy art supplies for coloring books. No one. Unless you're going to rip it apart and hang it on your wall. And even then, I would venture saying you can still go by if you put it under UV glass. And if you really want something to last forever, then you can't put them on the walls. I mean, even pieces that are exposed in museums from famous people, they all have been basically rebuilt over time because they need to be repaired from damage, time damage. This is, like I said, green, PG8. For example, if one wants a good quality paint, an affordable price, you can get Paul Rubens. Although Paul Rubens is not as, I mean, in watercolors, right? It's not as vibrant as other brands, but you can get White Knights, you can get Rosa Gallery. They're very similar. They behave very, very similarly. In fact, my first PG8 was by White Knights, my first green, which is sad that this is my favorite green because I think, as far as I understand, they will stop um, producing this pigment. I am making a kind of like a filling up my stock for it because of that. If you mean watercolor, Jeanette, this is not watercolor, but you can, but you're going to need a lot of layers. For something this intense, I would recommend either acrylic paint or gouache. And what I did was I painted, in fact, here on the border, it's black plus Prussian blue. And then I just reduced the amount of black, and then from here on is just Prussian blue. And nearby the stars, I added white to it to make a pastel version of that. And that is what creates the intensity. It's not that the color is super intense, is that when you make it really dark with a medium dark tone and you go really light, it will look very vibrant. But that's mostly an effect you can give. I did something very similar on my last stream. No, it was not the last one. It was the one before last, I think. Yeah, it was the one before last. I think. My memory is of a goldfish. I remember things happen, but I don't necessarily remember when they happen. So I could be giving you bad information. I'm just flat coloring these leaves because then after it dries, I'll go over with some pencil. And I do plan on doing a different kind of green for these other types of foliage. The one that looks a little bit like, I look at this, I think of algae, ocean algae. So the algae like thingy. I do think this is the perfect sap green. PG8. This and my favorite orange is quinacridone burnt orange, which is also a discontinued pigment. Not that I notice. There are different types of leaves. Oh, no. They're gonna be all the same now. Because I said so. It depends where you live, Jeanette, but the gouache I recommend is Turner gouache, as in it's cheap and good. Shinhan is also pretty good and is usually affordable. I cannot recommend Meeden. It's not bad, but it is a little bit streaky and it can frustrate people, especially if you're a beginner, because then you start feeling it's you that's doing something wrong when most of the time it's actually the paint. So gouache is the one thing I recommend getting the best one you can. Turner gouache, I can write it down. Turner Artist Gouache. I like that a lot. I bought a small set of 12. In fact, that other sky I showed you, I made with that. It's let me see if it's here. This one. This whole sky was made with gouache. Turner Artist Gouache. And this one was done with Masterclass Gouache. There is another one you might be able to find is Rosa Gallery Gouache. It's also pretty good. It's very similar to the Masterclass. Rosa Gallery and Masterclass, they come in little jars. Similar to this. But this gouache, Talents, I don't recommend. I hate it. It's gummy, is not as opaque. No, don't recommend it. But Turner and Masterclass and Rosa Gallery are pretty good. I don't know how easy it is to find Rosa Gallery gouache. In Europe, I imagine it must be easier, but in other places, it's not as easy. There is a really good brand called Linnell Gouache, and there's Winsor & Newton Design Gouache, which is really good. I'm gonna write it down. Shinhan is pretty good. It's a Korean brand. Shinhan Gouache. Winsor Newton has two types of gouache. It's the designer gouache that I recommend. They have a kids version. There is Masterclass. There's Kaya Palitra. Professional gouache. And there is Rosa Gallery gouache. These are the ones I recommend. Turner tends to be cheaper. Holbein is excellent gouache as well. It would be Holbein gouache. But Holbein tends to be more expensive. The cheapest ones you're going to find are probably going to be the Shinhan and Rosa Gallery, I think. If you live in the UK, you might find Winsor & Newton Designer Gouache for accessible prices as well. And Turner. Turner is very easy to find in the UK. Oh, Chris. Okay, the egg washer was just me showing the egg washer. And that I stick it in the bottom of a mason jar and fill with water so I can wash my brushes. Makes it much easier. And let me see what else. I'm not even sure I finished all the tags. Oh, actually, I didn't finish all the tags. I said that I don't do cute and cozy, that collecting coloring books is not part of the hobby, is a separate hobby altogether, and is not necessary for you to take part in coloring. Coloring is something I absolutely do at the same time as I do other stuff. And budget supplies are not as good as artist quality, but budget supplies are more than enough for us colorists. We can supplement a color or two, like really dark darks or really light lights, for to supply your really budget collection, because most of the time budget brands usually have more midtones than darks and lights. But you don't need to buy a full set of Derwent Lightfast, for example. And the last one would be quantity of completed pages compromises the quality. And I would have said yes a while ago, but nowadays, no. It all depends what you color and how you color. For example, I've been doing a lot of gouache and watercolor and water-based marker stuff. And with those, you go really fast. And that doesn't mean you're going to compromise the quality. In fact, I don't think I could have pulled off a sky this even and this bright with just my colored pencils. Or if it did, it would take a long time. Jeanette, Shinhan is a brand of Korean gouache, so and it's very affordable there as well. So if you feel like it or if she can bring it to you, I would recommend getting a small set of 12 or 18 colors. Um, no, Jeanette, Turner's acrylic gouache is a different thing. It's similar to this one that I used. Acrylic gouache cannot be reactivated, and gouache can be reactivated after it dries. That's the difference between them. Let me see if I can find the link. Or at least the photo. Try looking for Turner Designer Gouache. I think you're gonna find that probably easier. It's a white box, and I got it on Amazon. The watercolor is a blue navy dark thing. Yeah, acrylic gouache is not really, in my opinion, is not really matte acrylic. It's more like tempera, real tempera, because real tempera is like gouache, matte and velvety, but it doesn't reactivate with water, and it uses vinyl acetate as a binder. Yeah, vinyl acetate. And acrylic uses acrylic resin as a binder. That's the difference. And gouache, acrylic gouache, is what we used to call tempera. It cannot be reactivated, and it's very velvety, like this one. It's basically the same, but the binder is different. In fact, hold up. I'm here describing the gouache when I can just show you the gouache. This is the Turner Design gouache. It has, this is the tube, what it's like. And this, it's kind of a white marbly kind of box. These are the ones I used on that page I mentioned. Okay, Jane, we'll wait for you. Let me check something. Is Annika live already? Oh my god. Oh no, we got 7 minutes still. Okay. So everyone, I am going to end the live stream in like 2 minutes, so we have time to migrate to Annika's chat. I will continue to color my page while we are hanging out at House of Annika. Hi Nessa. I'll be ending the stream soon so we can meet in Annika's chat, Annika's stream. You're most welcome, Jeanette. Oh, you were here all along and I didn't say hi. I'm sorry, Nessa. I didn't know you were here. That's fine. I'm just glad you colored something. Nessa, if you check the description for my live stream, there is my Discord link down into the description. You can click there and post whatever is you coloring if you want to share. I love to see what people are coloring. You can post images there under the tab Fox Then Goes Live. All right, everyone. 1 more minute. See you in Ireland, Chris. From Brazil to Ireland. In 3, 2, 1.